So a very long time when my Tina and I's two oldest boys were in high school, Jake, the older one, was a senior, and Jake was a pretty big kid, and Josh was a sophomore, and he hadn't hit his growth spurt yet. They're in the backyard playing football with their friends, and little brother starts jawing at bigger brother and would not stop. This is what the story that I heard, on and on and on until big brother had had enough, and you know what happens after this? Big brother picked up little brother and threw him on the ground, and ultimately broke his collarbone. It was an awful thing. And so we had to bring Josh in. He's like shaking and suffering, and big brother feels bad. And of course, Jake, the older brother, who had hurt his little brother, was like, "Dad, I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to." Meanwhile, Josh is on the couch, kind of broken, in pain. We're like, "Hey, Josh, hey, buddy, we're not going to take you to the ER. And the reason we're not going to take you to the ER is Jake said it was an accident. And because it's an accident, we're not going to take care of you. And you weren't wearing pads, and you just got to get tougher. And it was, you just got to kind of rub some dirt on this one and brush it off, right?" No, we did not do that. I promise you. We had to take him to the ER, and then Jake apologized. It was this emotional scene in the hospital room. It was great. I love that. But we did not take Josh to the ER because there is no necessary correlation between intent and outcome. It's pretty deep, isn't it? That may be the deepest thing you get all morning. We'll come back to that in a minute. We are wrapping up our series, The Weight of Our Words, and we have had so much feedback around this from all of you. In fact, I've had it in my own life. I've thought about this because all of us can say we've been crushed by words, we've been destroyed by words, because words can build you up, we said, or they can tear you down. They can rob your confidence, or they can give you courage. And it's just not words that we hear, it's also words that we don't hear. Because there's some words that weren't said to you along the way that you really needed and you long for and you may still need in your life today. Like simply, "Hey, mommy loves you," or "Dad loves you," or maybe, "I'm so proud of you." Never heard that and you long for that. Or, "I'll always have your back. I will be there through thick and thin." See, the tension is we know words shape us. I mean, we all kind of agree. And it's not too hard for us to recognize this in our lives. One of the places we get to recognize, again, is in kids' lives and students' lives. When we do the For the Students event, where we just help a bunch of kids in our community, and we always hear stories of kids just needed to hear that someone cared about them, someone loved them, someone was proud of them. We recognize that in other people. Here's the challenge for all of us. We really struggle with taking responsibility for what we have said along the way. And I'm just telling you, if you're a follower of Jesus, this is not an extra, this is not an add-on, this is at the core of who we are. We're responsible for how our words land. The Apostle Paul said, we're one another people. We love one another. We serve one another. We care about one another, which includes what we say to one another. And when our words are like awful or not thoughtful, we reflect the wrong version of a God that is perfect. And we need to think about how our words land. And again, if you're not a Christian, this might be the reason you don't want to be a Christian, or you don't like church people because you've heard what church people say to you or to other people or to other church people, and it's just not very Jesus-like. In fact, you need to know this if you weren't here last week. Jesus saved his harshest, and I mean harshest criticism for religious leaders who did not care for people. So again, if you're not a Christian, I hope you can look past this and see Jesus and be reminded what the Apostle Paul said, that words can build up or they can tear down. So in the series, we've talked about 3 dynamics that determine what people hear regardless of what we say. That in every conversation, we've all experienced these 3 things. In week 1, Josh talked about the weight of our words, that words are not equally weighted. Your negative and critical words are not weighted the same as your positive words, and it can't be a 1-to-1 ratio. You need lots more positive before you criticize, before you judge, and we still need to tell each other the truth, but we need a lot of encouragement along the way. Last week, I talked to you about the fact that the source determines weight. Who says it is sometimes more important than what is said. In every conversation, remember that our relationship is not equals. A parent to a child is not an equal relationship. A boss to an employee is not an equal relationship. And so things that we may flippantly say or just think I'm trying to help, remember the weight that comes with our words. An unequal weight, if we would leverage it for good things, we could really make a huge impact in our world. And if you missed the first 2 parts of the series, I'd love for you to go back. It's just so practical and helpful. But today, I want to talk about the idea that intent is usually irrelevant. Intent is usually irrelevant because there is no necessary, we said this already, correlation between intent and outcome. Now, when it's physical, it's easy to see that. When I break your window because I threw a ball at your house, it's like, oh, okay, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that, but the window is still broken. You break your brother's collarbone. I'm sorry, but that thing is still broken. You decide to break your mother-in-law's precious moments. Do y'all remember what precious moments were? And she has a collection, and you let your little ones play with them. Yeah, and then they break. I'm sorry, but they are gone forever. My mom, when she was a little girl, my grandfather, Poppy, got a brand new Buick, and my mom loved her dad so much, at 4 years old, she washed his brand new car with Ajax. Think about that, Ajax. She turned a brand new car to a scratch machine. Her intent was good, but the car was ruined. Now, here's the challenge. It's harder to see that with words. And when we say something we shouldn't, explaining doesn't always equal repairing. Physical world is easy. But in the word world, it's hard to understand that I just can't put it back together immediately. I hurt you, and I should not explain why I hurt you. I should just own it. See, in the moment that someone hurts us with our words, for most of us, and you've experienced this, we need to be glued back together in our soul, in our spirit, in our mind, and in our emotions. That we do not need to be explained why they did what they did. And then we go into the other words like, hey, I hurt you with my words, and then I apologize. Why are you still upset? Anybody ever say that to you? Worse, have you ever said that to anybody else? I know I wronged you. Why can't you just get past it? I forgive and forget. Why won't you just forgive and forget and let this go? And the reason I want to say that is I go to my intent. My intent wasn't to make you feel that way necessarily. I didn't mean it that way. My friends, that's not glue that puts people back together. That's not helpful when our words have injured someone's soul. That didn't come out right. I know it didn't come out the right way, but you can't take those words back because once they leave their mouth, they're out on the table. You can't go back 25 minutes and just pretend it didn't happen just because you feel bad about it. And this is where our relations start to separate and fracture along the way. This is my worst one. I mean, after I read this to you, I want to slink off the stage and go hide in the back. I was just trying to be funny. To me, that justifies just about anything I say. Okay, just to make me feel better, anybody go down the road if I was just trying to be funny when you say something stupid? Raise your hand. Oh, I'm so glad we're so broken in this place. Isn't it true that I was just trying to be funny, and funny justifies hurting people, and it doesn't. It wasn't my intent to hurt you. Well, that's fine. But what we communicate when we say this, you don't really care that you did just hurt me. Instead, you and I, we communicate blame. I'm sorry that my words hurt you and your sensitive heart. Someone ever say that to you? I'm so sorry that you just can't handle it. I'm so sorry what I said. You're not tough enough. You're not mature enough. You're a professional. I pay you to show up here, and my words hurt you. Listen, just take your money and be tough along the way. See, intent often makes us think blame, and now it's my fault. Just say it again. Explaining sounds like blaming to the person we hurt with our words. This is how you know this. You've received that from other people. I don't know why this is hard for me. I've received those kind of words. As a pastor over a long period of time, people have said stuff that I'm like, oh, I know you were trying to be nice, but that stung a little bit. I know how it feels. You know how it feels. And yet when we say it, somehow we just miss we're doing that to the other people, and we all do this somehow along the way. See, when we try to explain away what we said, what it feels like to the other person is pressure and expectation. It's pressure because I want you to feel better so I feel better. It's expectation because I want you to get over it so I don't have to feel bad about it anymore. And this is the weird thing. This is maybe what you were taught growing up. Maybe you were taught this about your faith. I'm like, it's a magic wand to say I'm sorry. It's a Jedi mind trick. You don't feel bad anymore. You don't feel bad anymore. Like Yoda's on the other side of the apology. Yet the other person, they're still hurt. And they're still wounded. And maybe they're still angry. And the pressure is there for them to just get over it. It's why we say things like, I said I was sorry. I said I was sorry. Why doesn't this work for you? I said I was sorry. Implication is, why aren't you fine now? I said I was sorry. This is probably the bigger implication. Why aren't we fine now? I said I was sorry. Why aren't we fine now? Why aren't we back to where we were before I said what I said? I said I was sorry. I just want you to think about this. Are you a person that does that? Am I a person that does this? Now, if you're not a Christian, if you don't follow Jesus, you just need to know this is not a bad way to live your life and think about your words and experience life with people around you. This is just a really good way to live your life. And you don't have to do that. But I'm just telling you, if you are a Christian, we have to consider the words that come out of our mouths. We can't use our unhelpful, harmful words and then go, hey, I did my part, now it's your fault. I'm waiting on you to receive this. Come on, come on, come on. Pressure, 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 expectation. Come on, we just sometimes miss this, and this is huge. Again, if it's me dropping a brick on your foot, I'm gonna say I'm sorry and realize your foot's still broken, isn't it true? And I'm gonna help and I'm gonna apologize again and I may pay your bills or take you to the doctor. But sometimes we say words that are way worse because that foot's gonna heal. But the soul takes so much longer. It's why so many of us carry baggage along the way. I break your foot. Yeah, I see the damage. I wound your soul, your spirit, or your mind, and I just move on. Here's the challenge. And I'm an apologizer, just so you know, because it's easy for me to apologize, but apologies don't reverse and erase accidental injuries to the body. Apologies don't reverse and erase accidental injuries to our soul when words have damaged them. And I told you I'm an apologizer because I can say words and they come pretty easy. It's not hard. But understanding the wounds that I cause, I've had to really work on that over the years of my life, the relationships that matter most, because I don't want to steal people's security. I don't want to steal my son and my daughter's courage. I have people that work for me that have to do really hard things, and I just don't want to beat them down with my words day in and day out so they can't, do what God's called them to do for you. Just so you know, it is really easy for me just to swing the bat so hard. You may be like, yeah, you're doing it right now. I know, it's so easy for me. That's why I got to remember, listen, we're trying to tell the truth up here, and we're trying to encourage people at the same time, because this is what Jesus did so very well. And I want you, especially if you're new to faith, but even if you've been doing this for a long time, I want you to have confidence in your relationship with Jesus. And I don't want to break that for you. That's my responsibility. And here's the cool thing. In your own little way, now don't take this too far down the road. In your own little way, you're all pastors to somebody. Whether it's your kids, your grandkids, your nieces, your nephews, the team you coach. And this whole how do you say I'm sorry is a huge deal. An apology combined with an explanation sounds like an excuse. Because in that moment, we shift the blame. And again, sometimes words hurt more than anything else. Now, what's interesting about this whole thing is when I decide to apologize after I've done something to wound you with my words, or just about anything, but we're talking about words today, what it communicates to you, what it teaches you, what it teaches your kids, what it teaches your grandkids, is how they see this, and they would say how you view me and how you value me. Like if you're gonna apologize and then tell me why it was okay what you said, I am starting to see how you view me and how you value me. And dads, I'm telling you, and ladies, moms, you're right in that same category, but I've just seen this with dads. This is so huge for us. To come to the table after we said something to our kids, it's usually around try harder, or throw the ball harder, or study more. And sometimes that's okay, it's not all bad. But you know, when we carry it to success and we go too far and we come to the table and say, hey, Dad was too hard on you, but I just want you to be good at life. I just want you to, fill in the blank. That can be a challenge, can't it? James, the brother of Jesus, he grew up with Jesus. He was Jesus' younger brother. And then after the resurrection of Jesus, he became a follower of Jesus. He wrote the book of James, which is not very original. Book in the New Testament is named after him. When Jesus went back to heaven, James went all over the world to tell people about his resurrected king brother. James, we're told this by Josephus, he's an extra biblical writer. He's not in the scriptures, but he wrote about James, that the last thing he said was, Jesus is my Lord and my King. James, who knew Jesus inside and out, this is what he writes in a little letter to people that he was trying to help see how we do this well. He says, we all stumble in many ways. And you would probably say, yep, we all stumble. I stumble every day. Anyone who is never at fault in what they say, and this is so interesting, is perfect. Now, if you grew up in church like I did, we were taught over and over, no one is perfect, no one is perfect, no one is perfect, because we're all sinful and we need Jesus, which is true, by the way. But James says, if you don't stumble in what you say, you're perfect. In other words, if you can control your mouth, in some ways, you've arrived. It's easy to say that. It is so hard for most of us to do. If you want to know what maturity looks like, control your mouth in every situation. And the tongue is the hardest because mouth control is ultimate self-control. Now, when you think of self-control and I think of self-control, I think about one scoop of ice cream, which is not even a Christian thing to do, one scoop of ice cream, is it? I mean, if it's not 3 or 4 scoops, I'm wasting my time. I'm just like, you get the engine running and disappoint myself. It's the exercise of strength control. It's those kind of things. And James was, hey, look at me. That's your mouth. It's what you say. Because James understood the damage of our words, and it means you need to figure out how to control your mouth and your tongue ahead of time. He puts this huge emphasis. I mean, you're close to perfect if you can keep a tame on your tongue, if you will. And then he gives us this interesting word picture. He says, consider what a great forest is set on fire by a small spark. And he says the tongue is like a fire. If you've ever been out west and seen a massive forest fire, that like eats up 50 square miles of wilderness, it's overwhelming to see. It's terrifying, actually. I've seen it just a couple times. What's so fascinating, to James's point, is usually that forest fire starts with a campfire or a kid with a sparkler or a Bic lighter and a cigarette, and whoever it is, don't extinguish their fire properly because there's a whole system to it. And if you don't take the steps and be thoughtful and intentional about your campfire, it burns everything down. When I was a kid, we were playing army men in the backyard, and of course we were lighting them on fire, the little plastic green guys, if you remember those. And we got caught, and we ran. My dad came out, and we ran, but he didn't see what we were doing. And so we were in Arizona, so everything's dry in the grass, and literally 10 minutes later, the entire wood fence around the back of our yard was burning down. And man, my dad found me. We won't talk about that right now. My dad found me, and he let me know we do not play with matches, and there it is. I mean, it's just a little Bic lighter, and poof, there goes our whole fence. It's just a little bit more criticism. And I said I was sorry, and poof, that's what James is saying. Words can destroy a lot of things. And here's the challenge. When we use our words, our tongue, for the wrong things, we usually try and contain it as opposed to extinguish it. Because we got options, and we choose contain, because we don't want that fire to stop or start anything else on fire. We don't want it to get worse, and we also don't want to take responsibility. So when we think about this, contain, it's when we explain. Well, here's why I did it. I just want to contain it. I know there's a little fire going on here, but here's why. I want you to understand. And then we remind the other person, hey, I'm sorry. No, you're not. You're not really sorry. That's what we remind them. You don't really care about what you said. You just want to contain it. You want to get off the hook. You want some damage control. And more often than not in our relationship, that fire spreads and it grows. Especially when we do this repeatedly. I'm sorry, but here's why I'm sorry. Here's why. So don't Explain. Here's a way to think of it. Don't explain in an attempt to contain. That only increases the pain. I know that's cheeky and rhymey, but I want us to hold on to this. I'm going to read this again. Don't explain in an attempt to contain. That only increases the pain. And I know, like, some of the things may be running through your head because they run through my head. Oh, it was just a little thing. It was just a little thing. And you have to decide what's little and what's big. But sometimes we say big things and we know it's a big thing. And we try to contain it and not get rid of it. We should instead think about how do we extinguish it. And when we think about extinguishing words that we've said in a wrong way, I want to give you just two things that are not natural, but if you and I would practice this daily, I think on the other side of this, our relationships would be stronger and more repaired. And maybe someday when your kids are adults, you'll have a better relationship. I mean, this is all for us. The first thing is you got to have humility. See, the idea of humility, especially when I've said something or done something wrong, I'm submitting to you. I'm putting your interest and your well-being ahead of mine. I am full-on responsible, and there's nothing else I'm telling you. I'm just responsible. What I'm doing when I humble myself is all about your good. I'm trying to help you and not me. And often I come from a place where I just want to help me. The second idea is to think about sensitivity. See, insensitive words are only repaired with a great amount of sensitivity. That's what heals. When we explain why and justify, it is incredibly insensitive, especially when we really wounded somebody. Again, this elevates you, it doesn't elevate me. I don't need you. If I've done the wrong thing against you, I don't need you to understand me. I just need to understand you because I'm the perpetrator in this. I'm the one that's used the wrong words. I want to elevate you. Remember what James said? Jesus' brother. The tongue also is a fire. I mean, isn't that a strong statement? When we get this, that we can just start fires in people's hearts, I mean, everything starts to change in our relationships. What it sounds like, what it looks like to say words to people, I want to extinguish the words that are not helpful. So let's just start with this. You do something or say something that you shouldn't to somebody, a really helpful thing is to say, I'm so sorry. But the most important part, I know this is simple, but sometimes simple gets you down the road. I'm so sorry. The most important thing about saying I'm so sorry is the period at the end. Nothing else. I'm so sorry. Stop talking. Stop explaining. Stop justifying. No more excuses. So just to get us on the same page, let's just do this together. I'm so sorry. Ready? Let's say it together. 1, 2, 3. I'm so sorry. See how hard that is? It's just so uncomfortable, isn't it? I mean, I just want to say something. Matt, say something. No, let's do it again. Ready? I'm so sorry. Now wait in the uncomfortable silence of now it's your turn. I'm wrong. Period. This is an attitude. This is a heart posture. This is God's Spirit literally helping us go, okay, do the right thing because you love them. And Jesus said, love them. That's my commandment to you. I'm not going to remind you of why. You're too important to me to say anything else in that moment. I'm just going to give space for you. I'm so sorry. If you're a leader in this place, if you're someone that likes to help, if you do not like to feel bad in these moments of your life, this is my advice to you because it's my advice to me. I'm a fixer. So in this moment, no fixing. No fixing. I'm so sorry, no fixing. And if you're a leader, this is going to be really hard. Because what we love to do is bring restoration back really fast, get it all patched up so no one has to feel uncomfortable. See, when you say I'm sorry, you got to let them determine the speed of being okay. And this is true for all human beings. And please, in this moment, tough advice, don't tell them how bad you feel. You should feel bad, right? You caused it. I feel so bad. Okay, that's fine. It's not about you. See, we always love to bring it back to ourselves, including me. Don't ask for a hug. I'm sorry, don't ask for a hug. Because proximity matters in these moments. I'm not ready to hug you. I'm a touchy-feely kind of guy, and so when I want to make up with my wife, I want to hug. I promise you, she does not want to hug when I've said something I shouldn't say to her. Give her proximity, give him proximity. Pro tip, if you're a parent of young kids, you can typically apologize quicker and repair faster. Typically, the older your children get into the teenage and young adult years, it takes longer. Give them time. I'm sorry. I'm going to let you have space. I'll circle back. I'm sorry, but I know you're going to need some time. And do not use your authority. As a boss, I struggle with this. Don't use your authority as the mark to say, you have to forgive me. Let's go, come on, let's just get back to normal stuff. If you want relationships to repair. And lastly, wait to ask for forgiveness. I never said this as a younger pastor, but I've realized this is really important. You should ask forgiveness. Sorry should come quick. You should ask for forgiveness. But when you ask for forgiveness, you got to let them get there. You got to wait till they're ready to say, okay, I'm in a place where I'm at least listening to you ask for forgiveness. And sometimes as Christians, this is a power play. Hey, would you forgive me? Don't you remember Jesus said you have to forgive me? Come on, this is the thing, let's go. And there's a place for that. But when you've really wounded somebody with your words, the right thing is to wait and serve them. You remember what Jesus said? We talked about this last week. If this is new to you, I think this is huge. Jesus said the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve and give his life as a ransom for many. The one guy that could judge the world on their sin and punish and tell you whatever he felt like, whether you needed it or not, he decided, I've come to serve you, not have you serve me. And for us, I think when it comes to our words, this looks like I'm gonna go at your pace. I wronged you, I'm gonna go at your pace and what you need and what you want in this season of your life. And I don't wanna hurt you anymore. This is where the idea of humility and sensitivity come into play. Remember, they're choosing to at least listen to you. Now, I'm gonna be sensitive to our next words. Now, I wanna say this, and I don't know how to say this really well. I've been thinking about it all week. For some of you, your deal may be, I just don't apologize, Matt. And you may not say that, but the person next to you says, he never apologizes. He never apologizes, or she never apologizes. I just want to encourage you that if you're a Jesus follower, we apologize. So if your deal is, I can't apologize, I won't apologize, and here's how you know if you're not good at apology. Someone's told you along the way. So listen to them. They know, they see. So apologize. And maybe today your one step is just simply, I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna say I'm sorry for some things. I'm sorry, period. My bad. Take responsibility, okay? That's just a good thing. But to those of us, this is a part I'm not sure how to say well, that are really good at apologizing and not changing any of our behavior, that's not the Jesus model either. For me, for some of you, you keep saying the same thing and then follow it up with, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. And maybe you don't even explain it, but when you just keep doing the same thing, and I know none of us are ever gonna get it perfect. I know all my excuses, so you probably have the same. But you just keep coming, I'm sorry, I did it again. It's a little like a person that struggles with something they can't say no to, and then they do it and they mess up their lives. I'm sorry, it's the same sorry, but no change. In your relationships, if you find yourself saying, I'm sorry for the same thing over and over, I'm yelling at my son again because he doesn't run fast enough. And you're a Christian. Now, if you're not a Christian, you do whatever you want with this. But you're a Christian, it's time to go, God, that boy means too much to me. That little girl means too much to me. My dad, who's old and he never apologized, he means too much to me for me to keep treating him the same way. My wife, that I said for better or for worse, I keep needing to apologize, but I need you to help me change from the inside out. And it will make your I'm sorries have so much more weight and so much more depth. And what you'll be like is like your king who came not to be served, but to serve. And these things are not intuitive. They are not easy. They're never simple. They take work, and God's got to join us in this. But when he does, our tongue and our life doesn't have to be a fire that burns everything down around us. This is why when Jesus went to the cross, he wanted you to know, and I said this to you last week, that I love you, kid. Love you, kid. I love you, kid. I love you, kid. That's what he proclaimed over you. So here's what I'd love for you to consider. You may need to go back and watch this over again or listen to it over again or read something about this because it takes me so long to absorb this, that the weight of your words, that words are not equally weighted. You're invited to realize your critical words weigh way more than your encouraging words. As we walk out of this series, that source determines the weight. If you have authority, if people depend on you, your words weigh 1,000 pounds. And ultimately, as we said today, intent usually is irrelevant. If I get it wrong, but my intent was right, it doesn't matter. I still wounded the people around you. I'm gonna let you go at your pace. I'm gonna apologize without justifying. I'm gonna say I'm sorry and wait and trying to restore and be patient with you. Here's a question for today. You got a family member that you need to go home today and say I'm sorry to? You got a son or a daughter that values your voice so much and they just need you to say as a dad, I'm sorry, period. A wife, do you got a neighbor? Ooh, I hope this really bothers somebody. You need to get on social media and just say, I'm a Jesus follower and I'm sorry. Period. Not I'm sorry, I'm just so angry because what, no. I'm sorry I follow Jesus, I have not behaved very well. Period. And build people up, but more importantly, reflect the kingdom of God. Reflect your Savior, your King. If you're not a Christian, that's a great way to live. If you are a Christian, it is the only way to live. And I know you may have pushed back to what I just said in the last 3 minutes. That's why Paul said, do not let any unwholesome talk come out of your mouths, but only what is helpful for building others up according to their needs, that it may benefit those who listen. Double the humility. Double the I'm sorry and period. I feel like I'm at least partly right. You don't need to be right. Just, I'm sorry. I'm gonna be like my King. And the weight of our words can be leveraged to build people up and give them confidence, to spur them on, and maybe ultimately to grab onto Jesus for the rest of eternity. We have the opportunity to be a part of all that, and you're invited. You're all invited. And again, for some of you, you heard words from your dad, your mom, your family members, a coach that broke your heart. Can I just say on behalf of the kingdom of God, I'm sorry for that. Let's not continue. Let's be like our King who came to serve and gave his life on a cross as a ransom for many, because you are loved. Let's pray together. Heavenly Father, I am so sorry for the words that I've used in my life to hurt people. Help me to do better. Help us to do better. Lord, when we do fumble and stumble and sin and say things to people that tear them down, help for us to recognize it, own it, and take responsibility. No more explaining, no more justifying, but help us to be the light in a very dark world right now that just needs to see that there's a King that is for us and for the world, trying to bring us back to you, Jesus. And thanks for loving us. And for every man, woman, and child and student in this room, I would pray that they would possibly see today and the future that you are the path to life and you love us. In your name I pray, amen. Guys, thanks for being here today. Use your words well. You're dismissed.